So this is going to be a really special panel. We have Brazil. We have Max Major Campos from the Brazilian Cyber Command with us. We also have Pablo Almada from KPMG Argentina. And these are ICS experts. Why is this important? Our relationship with South America matters a lot. And why is that important? Well, because if we're not there, then we create a vacuum. Obviously, there's no such thing as a vacuum, and we all know that. So the actual topic of this panel is barriers to collaboration efforts between South America and the United States in the protection of critical infrastructure. So I'm going to be your moderator. I'm Dr. Paul D'Souza with CSFI. This is hosted by the Bytes Foundation. There you go. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And what we're going to do here is just give our panelists the opportunity to quickly introduce themselves so we can get started with Max, and then we can move on to Pablo.
Hey guys, boa tarde a todos. Buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon, everyone. Initially, I would like to point out that my observation and speech during this panel reflect my perception and do not represent the vision of my institution. Therefore, I speak as an expert, and I'm not represent my institution here. I would like to thank the coordination of Hack the Capital for representing on the South American countries in this event. And thank you, my friend Paul D'Souza, for inviting me to the panel. Over the last few years, we have been working collaboratively, and we are having excellent results. About me, I'm a military expert in cybersecurity and defense, work in Brazil. Over the last few years, I have participated in events and published articles in this area. One of it was published at PsyCon 2019, which I consider the most relevant, given the importance of the event in the international cybernetic scenario. And I have been working until last year as coordinator of the Cyber Guardian Exercise Study Group at Brazilian Cyber Defense Center. I thank you all, and that we have a good panel for everyone. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Max. Appreciate it. Pablo, señor,
hello.
Por favor.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Pablo Almada. I am KPMG partner. I am focused on OT cybersecurity. I am part of the global leader of the IIoT cybersecurity for KPMG. I have been working in KPMG for the last 15 years, focused on cybersecurity, and the last 6 years focused on OT cybersecurity. I have been experiences in energy, a lot of companies related to energy, oil and gas, manufacturing companies, energy, electrical distribution companies, electrical generation companies. Actually, my main experience is in the energy. As you know, Latin America has a lot of resources related to the energy. Well, I am here. I'm very proud to be part of this panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pablo. I appreciate it. So let's just get into it with the questions. So let's just try to time them. And so we have like four minutes per question, okay? We're going to get started with Brazil. So, and also Argentina. So this is for the two of you. What are the current actions that your respective countries are taking to show protective measures in critical infrastructure? Max.
So, and guys, over the last few years, Brazil has been defining roles and decision levels around these issues in the cybersecurity and defense. The issue is very pertinent, as we can see, observe in Brazil, an excellent movement both by the public and private sectors, which involves significant improvements in the elaboration of the legal framework, process, and training of personnel. Just like today, we have a great exercise called Cybernetic Guardian exercise with the presence of the government, companies, academia, and the main regulatory bodies, the main national critical infrastructures. I found it interesting to address this topic here because in conversation with many professionals in the area of information security and cybersecurity around the world, is still unaware about these improvement cyber defense issues in Brazil. For example, regarding the cybersecurity strategy in the country, we can mention important normative documents, recommendation and good practices, which are helping our country to develop its capacity to deal with this issue. The most relevant was recently approved, which is the National Cybersecurity Strategy. Regarding the strategy in the area of cyber defense, we can mention the National Defense Strategy, which for the first time placed the issue of cybersecurity defense as a concern of the Brazilian state in the area of defense. It was from this document from 2008 that entire process of implementation of the construction works of the Cyber Defense Center and the Cyber Defense Command began. Other important normative recently created was the definition of the military cyber defense system, whose central organizer is the Cyber Defense Command. And finally, I highlight the main objective of the Cyber Guardian exercise and their results that demonstrate how the joint, integrated, and collaborative work is bringing great benefits to protection actions for important critical infrastructure sectors of our society. We can claim to be an activity that materializes cooperation and integration among governments, defense, public and private sector, and academia. All work to increase the maturity of the country's cybersecurity along with its main critical infrastructure. That's it, Paul.
Thank you so much. That's really nice to know that you guys have a new strategy touching on protection of CI. So Paul, or Pablo,
Yes.
what are your thoughts
Thank
on
you.
that?
Yes, I believe in comparison with Brazil, in Argentina has had a critical infrastructure cybersecurity institution since 2011. In June of 2015, the government provided more relevance in the structure of the government. That means more resources, but until now, no cybersecurity policy has been published. We have just a short policy that defines which are the critical infrastructure. However, they are the only regulated sector in the financial sector, and it is made by the Argentinian Central Bank. On the other hand, regarding the private sector, they are moving forward. They are implementing some cybersecurity measures in the infrastructure, in the critical infrastructure. However, again, the government we don't have a policy, and the companies are moving to this direction due to the fact that they are concerned about the cyber attack. But to sum up, in Argentina, we don't have a global cybersecurity policy. For example, focus on the electrical sector or focus on dams or the manufacturing or every kind of a critical infrastructure.
So it's more of a political issue in this case, a policy situation, you would say. Do you see, the creation of a strategy or a national policy for protection of CI in the near future?
In my opinion, I believe that every government in Argentina, we have a new government every 4 years. The parties for every 4 years we have election, and in every election they change all the people who is in charge of this area, and then they have the new policy. They change the thing that they made in the last period, and then we have every new equipment or teams working in different topic every 4 years. This is the problem. In my opinion,
Okay.
it's a political issue that we have to think maybe in 10 years, 15 years, and we move forward and working on that.
Okay. I mean, so on that note, Pablo, to some extent, are there any recommendations to set guidelines or criteria for relationships or collaboration with neighboring countries like Brazil, for example? Um, do you guys have any kind of, is this something that it's coming from the private sector? It sounds like that's how you guys would, I guess, collaborate with Brazil or Chile or Paraguay?
Yes, I understand. In my opinion, it's going to be really, really hard in the public sector.
Okay, I
However,
see.
yes, but however, for the private sector, they realize that they could be part of the cyber attack. The C-level are really concerned about the cyber attacks. In most of the cases, they are our project sponsor. This understanding of the C-level is leveraged from the similar countries that suffer a cyber attack. But I believe regarding this topic, the private sector has no obligation to share information with the state, even if
Right.
there's a suffering a cyber attack. I am excluding such companies or companies regulated by other international standards. I believe that we must first we have to regulate the critical infrastructure controlled by the government. It means, to make a parenthesis, there are two big sectors that I'm talking that they are part of the critical infrastructure is controlled by the government, and other company or other part of the critical infrastructure is controlled by the private sector. Regarding the infrastructure controlled by the government, by the state, I believe that we have to implement some processes and procedures for information sharing. This is the first step that we have to do. We have to implement processes and procedures to share information between the public sector. Then when the public sector is mature, maybe we can include the private sector in these processes to share information between our neighbor countries. But first, in my opinion, we have to move forward with the public sector. We have to mature to move forward and to mature these procedures. And then when everything works, okay, we are going to include the private sector. But the first step, I need that the first step I believe the first step should be made by the public sector.
I see. Got it. So, thank you so much for your comments. So this question is for Max. So, and then it links to that because Max, within this context, how does the Cyber Guardian exercise collaborate with these initiatives to support the increase in the level of maturity of the private and public sectors concerning cybersecurity? And because that's your bread and butter right there, Cyber Guardian. If you can talk about that, that would be great.
Yeah, it's an excellent question because the Cyber Guardian is a joint exercise interagency, materialize the collaborative action, cooperation, and integration among the military cyber defense system at the National Critical Infrastructure for Protection for National Defense through long preparation process with the objective of increased maturity of the cyber ecosystem and cyber resilience. The Guardian stands out today among other initiatives around the world. We have other joint exercise initiatives around the world, such as Cyber Europe, Cyber Percel in Portugal, UPCRITES in Germany. It is an excellent exercise. It's clear, and then it's clear that these recent actions, especially the great evolution in these areas from 2017 to the present day, have had a positive impact on the country. One of these indicators comes from the Global CySec Index poll. prepared by the International Telecommunications Union. The Global Cybersecurity Index is a benchmark in the field that measures countries' commitment to cybersecurity at a global level. As cybersecurity has a wide field of application, the report reflects an assessment of each country's level of development or involvement in 5 pillars: legal measures, technical measures, organizational measures, capacity development, and cooperation. In the first edition of the report, Brazil was the 7th global position and the 6th position in the regional area. And based on what we presented here in the previous talk, in which we highlight the recent actions of the Brazilian states, whether in the clear definition of roles, responsibility, or in the elaboration of the legal framework to deal with the matter in Brazil. In the report of the same entity up to date last year, 2020, Brazil was the 18th position in the global rank, and we are now the 30th country in the regional ranking, behind only the USA and Canada. This brings us to perception that we are on the right path and that we have to increasingly promote and give visibility to what is being done for greater involvement to whole society. That's it.
Okay, I mean, I've been there as an observer to Cyber Guardian. It's an incredible exercise, super impressive. I've noticed that, yes, we do have an American presence in terms of the State Department, more of a political presence in the exercise. But I didn't see much of like a technical presence from the U.S. as part of Cyber Guardian. And I mean, my thought about this is, what are your thoughts on, for example, Cyber Command being part of Cyber Guardian as an observer, for example? Because I'm assuming that you have invited Cyber Command to participate, no?
Yes, since the first edition, we received a lot of observers around the world. NATO, for example, international nuclear agents work together with us. Yes, during the exercise today. We have a simulator with the nuclear agents that work inside the exercise. It's more important to talk about this. And we receive military around the South America, and we don't have it yet, Cyber Command in the United States yet, but I think it's more important to relationship, okay, to know how it works in Brazil, and we know the people and how it works integrated, political, academia, public and private sectors work together to discuss and elaborate something, questions to deal this scenario of cyber threat.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And definitely it's super important that the U.S. becomes more involved as part of this exercise, which is the biggest ICS exercise in South America. So definitely we should have a stronger American presence in South America. Hopefully we're going to see more of that. So this is a question for the two of you. So in your opinion, what is the level of collaboration and information exchange between neighboring countries around South America, as well as with our American partners?
Yes, I think we have important initiatives in progress, but I believe that they need to be strengthened, as the exchange of knowledge and collaboration are essential to ensure a strategic positioning and measures to protect critical infrastructure. The development, for example, of malware Espionage and even cyber weapons is greatly facilitated by the dark web and then anonymity it provides. Effective cyber exploits are monetized and sold in a specialized market, and threat actors who lack the technical capacity to create specific tools can now purchase desired resource and contract additional developments. And so, developing threat intelligence using methodologies such as data mining and machine learning can help ICS agents identify, mitigate, and prevent attacks, security incidents, or other vulnerabilities more quickly and efficiently. These services can be leveraged by national or supranational cybersecurity centers and based on an international collaborative environment. An important support for the ICS threat intelligence network would be the use of HoneyNet and distributed SCADA HoneyNet networks. Their relevance is expected to increase, and despite the development monetary costs involved, they deserve more attention than they have received so far. In Brazil, for example, we can mention the ICS HoneyNet SCADA project implemented at the Itaipu Technological Park Foundation, together developed with Paraguay. It's building the Brazil area and the Paraguay area work together to create IOC, for example, and identify in real-time threats and send information with threat intelligence for partners. In the military sectors, we can mention the use of MISP, Malware Information Share Platform, implemented together with the countries that make up the Ibero-American Cyber Defense Forum, which includes countries in South America and Europe, like Portugal, Mexico, for example, the same platform. These initiatives are ongoing and need to strengthen around South America and with the United States, as it becomes clear that the exchange of knowledge and collaborate has proved to be essential for effective protection in the area of critical infrastructure protection. That's it, Paul.
So, you touched on, so I see that, now we have Freddie from Chile. Welcome, Freddie. I think we can see like half of your face there. But I'm going to bring you into this discussion as well. But I guess, Max was talking about Itaipu, right? And that's a massive power plant in Brazil. And I think that Itaipu is probably, I don't know, it probably generates like 30 or 40% of all the energy in Brazil, something like that.
Yes. And 80% in Paraguay, for example. In Paraguay.
Wow. That's massive.
It's dependent of the Itaipu.
And you guys have this, honeypot deployed there, right? And it's not only, I guess, software run, but also hardware, right? Run, and it's built by the Brazilian Cyber Command?
Yes, the Brazilian Cyber Command support this project until last year. And today, the honeypot is building in the production. Yes, in production.
Is it production?
It works in production, not project. The project
awesome.
is finished.
And the good news is the fact that you guys are collecting a lot of, IOCs. And obviously, I'm sure that some of this cyber intelligence would be of great interest to us here in the U.S. Do you have any plans of information sharing with the U.S. as in relation to this a project or this effort in particular?
Exists some initiatives around Brazil first, and I think in the future it's possible to plan something to work together with the United States. I think it's in the future vision. I think it's possible.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for that. And your thoughts on that, Pablo?
Yes, in the case of Argentina, I believe it's too slow, too low, and non-formal. In the case of the private sector, information is exchanged based on personal relationship. Actually, there are no non-formal channels are in place. On the other hand, in the public sector, based on my experience, they don't have the capability to share information. Actually, they don't have, how Max said, we don't have honeypot, we don't have researchers that belongs to the public sector.
But are you guys deploying MISP? Are you deploying MISP at all for information sharing?
In our case, no,
Yeah.
there is no in place a formal structure to share information. Actually, as I said in one of the questions, we don't have the obligation to report the cyber attack.
Okay.
Actually, I remember a few years ago, a part of the government is the part of the government who is in charge of the internal security, the physical internal security here in Argentina. They suffered a cyber attack, and well, that was reported, I believe, 2 or 3 months later of this cyber attack. Actually, the part of the government that is in charge of the documents of the population, they suffered a cyber attack. And this database that has all the information of the Argentina population is in the dark web. This is a very problem that we have here in Argentina. But going back to the questions, actually, I convinced that we must strengthen the CERT, the part of the government who is in charge of to respond cyber attacks, and to put in that place respective cybersecurity people in charge. And finally, to sum up, we must sign multilateral agreement for collaboration with our neighborhood countries and to the US too. This is to have, or maybe to last this collaboration over the time.
So Pablo, you're talking about some attacks, and and we're talking about OT and ICS and all that. Are you seeing attacks against OT, or if you had to just break it down a little bit, is this more of like an IT problem in terms of OT, or are you seeing that jump from IT to OT? If you can just break it down and provide some insight on that OT reality in Argentina, I guess.
Yes. I want to talk about the last 3 years. I have been seeing that the cyber attacks are rising. All the cyber attacks that I have been involved, they were focused on IT and then moved to or jumped to OT. All these cyber attacks were, most of them were happened using ransomware attacks. Yes, actually, I have my team working now in a neighbor country here. Part of my team is working near to Argentina, and they are dealing at this moment with a WannaCry attack and with a WannaCry, and they are working with another ransomware. I believe it's a Hive. They told me today. I received information, and they are working a lot. But this is a company that is a big manufacturing company. And first, and then in this case, the cyber attack started in the OT environment. They told me a few hours ago that this started by USB. But the good thing, the good thing is that the production was affected. This is
so you're saying that this started on the OT side via USB. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, in this case, in this neighbor country, yes. But in the whole project that I have been involved, most of them, the 90% of them, were focused. The first step were IT environment, and then one of the most important cases that I have been involved was a cyber group, a cyber attacker group, that they got into the IT network. There was a group of people, the cyber attackers, and then they found a server that they were able to jump to the OT network. Was an electrical company. As you know, in this case, that this cyber attack started actually in Azure cloud, in the IT network, and then jumped to the OT network. But to sum up my description, I believe most of the cases they started in IT and then moved to OT. And just one case in the last 3 years, one case in a port in a near country, here in a neighbor country, they stopped the facility. There was a port, and in that case, the production was stopped. And well, we had to move there physically and to start the system again, to set up the system again, the SCADA. And well, they have received 3 cyber attacks at the same moment, 3 different ransomware at the same time.
Wow.
They suffered a cyber attack, 2 weeks later, another cyber attack, and one week later, another cyber attack. All of them, based on our investigation, was the same group, and they were trying to stop this facility for a long period of time, and to obviously to get money against through this ransomware.
Can you share the I guess the source?
Fred's coming on the room.
What's that, Max?
Fred is in the room.
Oh,
it's possible to invite it to join us.
I do not see him. I don't have the ability to invite him. So I don't know who can actually do that. Oh, I think there's someone who's working on that.
Okay,
yeah, so on that, that's quite interesting right there. You know, I was just thinking about, data diodes, fairly popular. Pablo, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, what are your thoughts on data, diodes as a way of OT protection?
I believe it's a must, but however, I have never seen in place in Argentina data diodes. I have never seen that. Actually, nowadays thinking that, and they are not too popular. Actually, the companies are not selling this. I am talking about integration companies or cybersecurity companies. They are not. They don't have. You are not have the possibility to buy one of these equipment in Argentina. Maybe you have to import them from the United States with a company from the United States. But in Argentina, we don't have that. And it's not mandatory for cybersecurity for infrastructure. So sorry, for critical infrastructure. And also, I am not sure if the nuclear companies, the electrical nuclear companies in Argentina, we have 2 big nuclear companies, and I am not sure if they have data diode. And these two nuclear reactor that producing or generating energy in Argentina are under the scope of the government. That's why I am really sure that they don't have data diodes in their infrastructure. As you know, in this kind of infrastructure, it's very, very mandatory to have data diodes. But
I was just wondering about that. So you see that as an advantage, as something that would really help your country in terms of protecting your critical infrastructure.
Yes, but we have to move forward in other things to pay attention for example, to have a cybersecurity policy for the electrical sector. We don't have that.
Right.
Maybe
going back to that,
Yes, I believe we have to start with that, and then we have to implement data diodes. But I saw in a lot. I haven't seen in the last project that switches connected between the ITOT with an Ethernet cable. This is the basic of the basic, that something that we don't have to do, and I used to see that kind of things in the infrastructure.
That's interesting. So yeah, policy will definitely help Argentina with that. It seems to be a political issue right there as well. Do we have Freddie from Chile? I don't think so. Max?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I believe that Argentina will be there participating, right, as part of as a guest for as part of Cyber Guardian.
Yes, I think we have a military, the Argentine, participate with us.
Okay, that's great. And how many sectors will be participating as part this? Because this is going to be number 5, right?
Yeah, today we have telecommunications, nuclear sectors, financial sector at first edition, water sector, transport sector. We work together and discuss about specific issues, but in general, building good practices and lesson learned about the tabletop discussion. And we have Captain the Flag, like Captain the Flag exercise, simulator exercise in practical in the different places. And we have a different, how can I say, roles of the people participating, the technician and CISO of the different companies work together in the same place during 3 days. In this year, we schedule in August.
Okay. Yeah, I hope to be there.
Yeah, I expect
and
that.
I want to see my invitation. I want to be there for that. It's quite incredible. So in terms of support from the Brazilian government, right? It sounds like Brazil has support from Congress. I think probably GSI and all of those, top political organizations. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
In terms of policy.
Yeah, the policy is work as strategic area. It's coordinated by a different organized in Brazil. The president, the cabinet of security of president of the republic. This elaborate regulation in cybersecurity area. And then Cyber Defense Command is have responsibility of the cyber defense system of the military area. It's a different approach, civilian and military area.
Okay, that sounds great. And Pablo, are you going to be there for the exercise?
I hope that. But I believe, as you know, in comparison with Brazil, in this case, Argentina or the U.S. The Army of Argentina is going to be involved in this project. But if we suffer a cyber attack, in our case here within Argentina, the army is not in charge of the critical infrastructure. This is the situation that we have to deal with every day. Here the critical infrastructure have been supporting by the consultant companies. I believe, I'm really sure in Latin America, the OT cybersecurity companies are not so popular. The level of knowledge of OT cybersecurity is very, very small. And this problem that we have here with the private sector, the private companies, well, we have to think in the whole critical infrastructure, the public and in the public sector. This is a very problem that we have to secure infrastructure or to train our infrastructure or cyber warriors to defend our critical infrastructure. This is a thing that we also. Yes. Yes,
training is also, I guess, an issue, a barrier, right there for that. I want to just keep going, and I want to touch on something kind of interesting. So on April 12th, 2022, CERT UA, that's Ukraine, and ESET reported that a physical cyber attack impacted operational technology, OT, supporting power grid operations in Ukraine. The attack leveraged different malware, including a variant of In-Destroyer. And I think that this one is version 2, if I'm not mistaken on that one. Regarding this recent attack against Ukrainian CI, is South America also a target or an area of interest for the exploitation of, for example, the IEC 104 protocol that relates to that? Is this something that you have observed, maybe in Brazil or in Argentina? Do you see maybe, what do you see in that sense? Are you
Yes,
seeing signs of that?
This attack is significant not only because OT target attacks are there, but also because this is the first instance where rather no attack-oriented OT malware code has been redeployed against a new victim. The current attack, for example, used the malware compatible disk wipers for Windows, Linux, and Solaris operation system. And in coordination with the deployment of a destroyer tool on an industrial control system network, the attackers deployed a new version of the CAD wiper malware. We believe the goal was to slow down the recovery process and prevent power company operation for regaining control of the ICS consoles. It also deployed of the machine where a destroyer was run, presumably to delete traces of the threat. Here in Brazil, some of my contacts state that we had no commitments with this new variant, but the main companies are already attentive, especially companies in the Brazilian electricity sector. And it's important to note that even though companies in this sector already have the regulatory roles to deal with this type of threats in terms of compliance, the operation environment, as it relies on legacy companies, may contain security weakness. In this aspect, proactive measures are essential to deal with these threat scenarios. And one of them involves threat intelligence and information share methodology. Yes, that's it, Paul.
Okay, so so I guess, the Brazilian government, you guys understand the attack, you have the IOCs and you understand how to react, or you understand the TTPs, but you are not seeing signs of this form of attack.
None of that. Yes.
In
but,
Argentina.
Attention.
Okay.
We have
so
an advisory to pay attention with these attack scenarios.
Okay. So Pablo, are you seeing any signs of anything at all? Maybe scans or I don't know. Are you seeing any signs of In-Destroyer in Argentina?
Yes, understand. First, I would like to contextualize my answer. In Argentina, many RTUs are communicated through the internet using IEC 104. The abusing of the abusing of this protocol always is detected in the intrusion detection system. It is common behavior in an electrical network. But going back to the questions, based on the information that I got from the electrical sector, one of the most important here, actually I am talking a lot with them. We haven't seen behavior changes in the cyber attacks that they have been suffering the last 2 years. But I believe for the companies, the main concern for them is when a cyber weapon similar to a destroyer is left on the cyber field, and then it is used by script killings. This is this is my opinion about this.
Okay, so all the scans that you're seeing and all that, probably not something serious.
Not aligned to destroyer, but
yeah,
actually,
okay, I see.
Yes, actually, one of the most important electrical companies suffered cyber attack a few 1 or 2 months ago, but wasn't detected changes or elements that align to destroyer.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for your answers. Outstanding. I really appreciate it. Um, any final thoughts that you would like to leave with us here, with the audience? Regarding Brazil, Argentina, Cyber Guardian, anything OT related in South America, or any thoughts on how we can better collaborate, in South America and collaborate here with the U.S. What can we do? What can America do to support your efforts?
Yeah, we highlight some aspect of collaboration with neighboring countries in exchange, share cybersecurity information to proactively protect critical infrastructure, to protect your organization from, for example, supply chain cybersecurity risk, for example. Understand, it's important to understand the risk in different organizations, especially essential on critical infrastructure. And for the collaboration and information, it's not just an important topic, but it has become a necessity.
Right.
All information share initiative have the common goal to improve cyber incident attack, prevention, detection, prediction, response, and recovery. Sharing of data can be performed to meet different goals, including better ICT innovation and incident random methodologies, improve the security of networking system monitoring tools, facilitate the storage of technical and non-technical information, learn from others and the security issues they are facing or detection, react about current activities and threats, and then we see a lot of benefits to increase share information. And then in Brazil, our regulation stimulate this approach. And then I think it's today I don't see barriers to create some problem to improve our collaboration with the other countries around South America and the United States. It's depending of the focus, depend how it works together with these countries and yes, because the benefit is better and more easy than to deal with a cyber attack and likelihood of impact, for example.
I mean, yes, and I was just thinking that, you gave the answer, right? Just a stronger presence, I guess. And I think that the way I see it, a good start would be more an American presence, I guess, more significant in the exercise cyber guarding. I think that that would be definitely of great benefit to all of us. Pablo, do you have any final words for us?
Yes, thank you. I believe that is very important because we can learn each other from Latin America and from the United States. Because one of the most important elements, in my opinion, and that we have the same asset that you have in the United States. We have the same turbines, the same system. We have a Delta Bay for cover of a gas plant. We are using the same assets.
Right.
And if we suffer a cyber attack in Latin America, the IOCs that the cyber attacker used to break into our network, is going to be the use, maybe it's going to be the same that they are going to use to the United States.
That's true, yeah.
Yes, I believe that we have to structure a methodology to exchange information and to sign a multilateral agreement to share information between the countries.
Nice.
I believe that this is a very important thing that we have to do, and we are going to, as I said at the beginning, we are going to learn. Actually, to finalize, in Argentina, we use the cybersecurity standard. We use a lot of the NIST, we use a lot of NERC, but it's not a formal policy in Argentina. If you see the policies that we have in, for example, in Chile, is similar that NERC. In Argentina, we don't have that. Based on that, if we are able to share the standard that you have in the United States, that are amazing standard, and we can do the same with the IOC on every element of to detect a cyber attack in advance. In my opinion, this is a must for Latin America.
Okay, thank you so much. So some sort of collaboration agreement between South America and the U.S. Okay, so we got 5 minutes left, and do you have any questions from? Yes, please. Yes, please.
Here, I'll let you read him the question on that subject.
Okay, so so there's a ban in Brazil that got Telegram to reverse its position on content moderation. Interesting. Okay. And what is the question? Okay, so maybe Max, are you aware of the news related to Telegram? And I mean, to me, it seems like more of like a policy situation here of, content, I guess, moderation. Anything they can share with us as it relates to Telegram in Brazil?
Yeah, in Brazil, we had political, how can I say?
Okay.
We have a
He's from the
rules.
army, sorry.
Yeah, rules of
he belongs to the government.
The not politicians discuss about this prohibit Telegram around Brazil, but in the last week we give up this regulation and work together, work it the same way, not problem. But we depend of the public. Inside the organized military and politicians, we use different platforms. But in general, the public in general use Telegram and other channels of communication. It's not a problem.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you so much. Anything, Pablo, on that note of, I guess, moderation of apps like Telegram or WhatsApp or anything like that?
Actually, the last two governments tried to control the social media, or at least to see what is happening, or to monitorize what is happening in the media, in the social media, in order to be aware of some movements of the population against them, against the government. However, not any activity works. That was more related to a media campaign from the government, but in the real life, there weren't any kind of control of the media, the social media. Okay. Actually, sometimes we have problems because someone threat to the president through the Twitter or something like that, and then the federal government, the policy goes to or try to get into the jail that kind of people. But there are not any kind of regulation in Argentina against that.
But nothing that would actually threaten, I guess, your critical infrastructure, right?
Yeah. No, I'm talking
Okay.
about the population
Right.
and the government.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you so much for being so candid and open about this, and thank you for your question. I really appreciate your comment. Anything else that anyone else would like to ask Max or Pablo? Are we
Oh, I
good?
would like to thank you, all
Yes.
of us, and the coordinator of the Hack Capital to invite invitation, and it's for me it's wonderful to share our experience, and we have make with the last years in Brazil, and military and civilian in cybersecurity. Thank you so much for invitation. I'm available for another opportunity. Thank you so much, Paul, for
You're very welcome.
we work
Thank you,
together.
Max. Yeah, of course. Always.
Yes.
Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it. So,
Thank you very much.
Cyber Guardian invitation, right? And let's
I will
start
send
talking
you.
about this, agreement, this information sharing agreement. That would be great between the U.S. and Brazil and Argentina. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.